Welcome to JA Our Community Session 5. For today's lesson, you're going to need your volunteer guidebook, the table tents that you should have collected in previous sessions, money, which you will have to cut apart and bundle in fives, the certificate of achievement, and the on-screen presentation. Today, we are going to talk about money choices, government workers, and taxes. You'll start off by welcoming students to the classroom and talk a little bit about what you discussed in session 4 when you talked about voting. Then you're going to ask some essential questions about government service, and then we're going to get right into how people get paid. So we're going to talk about how the pizza maker doesn't get paid from the shop. He has a manager who pays him. Then we're going to use this community map on screen. If you want to use the community maps from session 1, you can, as long as you collected them back. That's totally fine. But if you don't, then we're just going to use the on-screen presentation to zoom in, and we're going to talk about how people get paid. So the real estate agent, for example, gets paid by commission. So he pays himself when he sells a house. The grocer has a manager or someone who's going to pay him from the grocery store. Make sure you leave out government workers right now because we're going to talk about them a little later. Then it is finally payday. So if you remember from session 2, when you played the Plenty of Pizza game, the students made a ton of pizzas and they worked really hard. And today is the day, it is finally payday. I like to take this time to talk to students about why they didn't get paid session 2 or session 3. Because I don't know about you, but I don't get paid every single day, even though I work hard every single day. So it's nice to talk to students about how sometimes they only get paid twice a month and it might take a little bit of time to get paid. We are going to use the physical dollars. Again, you should cut them apart and bundle them to $5 each bundle. And then we are going to get to pay the students. But before we can, we're going to talk about how different people get paid and what they get paid. So on the left, we have a pizza delivery guy, and he is going to get roughly $4 or $5. But the repairman is going to get a lot more. So we're going to take this opportunity to talk about how different careers have different skill level and how they need different amounts of schooling, and so they might not get paid the same. Then we are going to start talking about government workers. So again, we have this community map, or you can use the community map from earlier, and we're going to zoom in on some of these sessions and these quadrants, and we're going to find government workers, and we're going to talk about how government workers get paid, because it's really important that we have government workers like our firefighters and our police officers, etc. So we're going to talk about how they get paid by our taxes. So we have 2 vocab words, so we would call 2 students to the board, have one of them define government and one of them define taxes. Again, they love interacting with the presentation, so have them click the definition once they've given their definition. Now we get to talk about the unfortunate part of paying taxes. So again, we have our pizza delivery guy and our repairman. So the pizza delivery guy got paid less, so he has to pay $1. And our repairman got paid a little more, so he has to pay $2 in taxes. So the more you make, the more in taxes you have to pay. This is the part where you get to pay students. Now, if you want to give them money earlier in the lesson, you can, but you need to make sure that they just hang on to it. They're not ripping it. They're not tearing it apart. They're not crumpling it or playing with it. So I like to give it kind of right before this. And then we have to, unfortunately, have them go through taxes, and they have to pay taxes because even though they earned $5 for making those pizzas, they do not get to keep all that money because we have to pay for taxes. We have to pay for our police force and our firefighters. So what you're going to do is you're going to have one student be the tax collector, and they're going to collect $1 from every student. And you're probably going to have a lot of grumbling and people who don't want to give it up. And that's just a good time to note that everyone does pay taxes. Even your tax collector might not want to give up their dollar because they think, hey, I'm collecting it, I don't have to. And they need to as well. So it's just a really good talking opportunity and really, really fun. Then we're going to do this drag and drop vocabulary practice. Again, it's our 2 vocab words for this lesson. So government and taxes. So you're just going to go slide by slide. The mayor works for the government. People pay taxes to help the community. Workers who are paid by a business pay taxes. So you're going to go through all of those. And then we are going to have to make hard choices. So the mayor has a lot on her plate, and so we are going to help her out by helping her make some choices for our community. We need some leadership skills, though, because it is hard to make some of these choices. So we're going to talk about how these skills really help us make good decisions in life. Then what we're going to do is we are going to just click on this computer and be presented with 2 options. So the lion and tiger cages at the zoo need repair. Should we repair the cages? Or firefighters need new hoses? Do we buy new hoses? Then have the students use those voting skills that they learned in session 4 to decide. If they really can't decide, those are both really important. They can always hit this get advice, and they can call the zoologist or they can call the firefighters to see. Let's just say we want to do the cages because I don't want lions and tigers running around. Then we always have something else happen, right? So the fire hoses are leaking badly, or the city needs money for a new mall. Let's just say we decide to build the new mall. Then we're going to have some breaking news, right? So the old hardware store just burned down because the fire hoses weren't working, because every decision has consequences, good and bad. So let's say, okay, we want to buy fire hoses now. You're just going to walk through these decisions, and you usually make about 5 or 6 decisions, and then you get this big news, which could be good or bad depending on the decision students made. And if you have extra time, you can play this game as many times as you want and make different decisions. It gives you different prompts based on what you've chosen. So now we say police use new walkie-talkies to plan park safety, right? So it's good. We ended up on a good decision. We're going to talk about how the government has to decide what's best for the community. The leaders have to make a lot of choices during the day. And did they find it was hard? Would they like making those types of choices every day? What kind of things impacted their decisions? Then we're going to go through some true and false. Again, I just like to have the students maybe do a thumbs up, thumbs down, sit, stand, one side of the room or other, depending on how much you want to get them up and moving. And you're just going to go through all those. Then we're going to wrap up the lesson with just a few talking points. Again, I really like to talk to the students about what they learned, what they had a good experience in. And then, talk to them about how when they get home, they should write a thank you card for their government workers and drop it off at the fire station or the police station, because they really do work hard for us. Once you're done with that, you have officially completed the 5th session of JAR Community, and you are done with the program. You should leave 5 to 10 minutes to do graduation. You have your certificates here. Make it special. Call up the students by their name, shake their hand. If you want to bring a treat or a trinket into the classroom, you have to have it approved by your teacher first. We're recommending pens, pencils, or healthy snacks, but sometimes teachers do allow candy or other things in their classroom. But again, it must be peanut and peanut product free, and do not bring anything into the classroom unless you've had it approved by your teacher. There are so many different allergies. We want to make sure we're keeping all the students safe. Once you spent that 5 or 10 minutes on graduation, you will be officially done with the JAR Community Program. We hoped you enjoyed session 5 and overall the JAR Community Program.